Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Kara. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming
Okay.
today.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to have this interview and get to know Project Homeless Connect. So I'm here now on 25 Van Ness at Project Homeless Connect main office, and I'm with Kara.
Kara Zordel. I'm the
Kara
executive
Zordel,
director.
Executive
Project
Director
Homeless.
of Project Homeless Connect, and um, I'm just gonna ask a few questions regarding, about the Project Homeless Connect. So, Kara, again, thank you. So, how did you become involved with this organization?
So I have spent the last 15 years in the South Bronx running homeless programs. I
Okay.
run homeless shelters for families, also homeless prevention programs, and then semi-permanent housing. And I got a call that they were looking for somebody in San Francisco to run this project. And I love Barbara Garcia. I think she's one of the
I love her too.
geniuses. And she's just somebody that has is just really a beautiful mind that cares so much for the homeless, and she runs the Department of Public Health. So when I saw that this
Okay.
position was under Barbara, I immediately applied and was really excited to be able to work, especially with Project Homeless Connect. What's exciting about it is the volunteers.
Uh-huh.
You know, we have 1 out of 16 San Franciscans is somehow connected to Project Homeless Connect through volunteering or donations.
Okay.
And so when you have that many people in the city excited about what you're doing, it kind of gets me excited. And so it's the greatest job in the world.
Okay, and I could see there's enthusiasm,
Oh, it's
and,
great.
and how long you've been?
I've been with PHC for 3 years.
Okay.
And over these 3 years, we have doubled. We have gone from being just an event-based project to having events every other month to
Yeah.
now, as you see, every day we have about 20 to 30 people that are homeless come into our doors, and if they need socks or dentures or t-shirts
Prescription
or
glasses.
glasses or hearing aids,
Yeah.
or sometimes people just come in, they need a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Whatever they need, they can come in every single day of the week, even in the evenings, and we'll help get them what they need. So it's been really exciting.
Okay, and can you actually talk about the work of your organization and how the programs and some of the programs that you run? I believe that Project Connect ev-
Everyday
every
Connect?
day, you actually came up with this
Yes.
idea. I saw the article and
Yes. Yes, it was
And,
something that we as a team, when we would do the big events,
Yes.
we would feel frustrated that it would take 2 months for us to have another event, and people would say, I need to get a job, but I can't wait 2 months to get a pair
Yeah,
of glasses. So what we started to do is we opened up our doors and we said, what can we do as a community? And you know, Project Homeless Connect, people think we have a lot of money. We don't.
Okay.
We're not a city agency. All of our staff salaries are paid through the city, but every dollar that it takes to run this like the events,
Yes.
every dollar that we spend on t-shirts, all of that is fundraised. So what we've done, because now we have so many people needing help every day, what we've done is mobilize the community. So every day on Twitter, we do a need of the day, and then on Facebook as well. So let's say yesterday somebody they got robbed and somebody stole their wheelchair, and they were just sitting on the corner, and so they needed help. And we could put it up on Twitter. We don't have the money to necessarily go buy a wheelchair, but we put it up on Twitter and said, this woman needs a wheelchair, she needs some clothes and some shoes. And by 5 o'clock, somebody had donated those items. So it's amazing how much we can do by just using what we already have in the community, as long as we're all working together. It's not about money, it's about really using what we already have. So
Okay.
that's what's exciting to me. It's like, it's really about using intelligence and technology and these things that make businesses work, using those same concepts in a nonprofit setting, which a lot of nonprofits don't do.
yes, it's very unique.
Yes.
And I believe that a lot of the cities now throughout the nation
Yes.
are actually adopting this concept. There's over 200 cities that are actually doing
Yes.
Project Homeless Connect, and
In
it's
3 countries.
Oh my God! Let's not
We
forget
have over
about.
200 cities and 3 different countries.
Let's not forget about the
I got a
countries.
call yesterday from Australia. That in Melbourne is doing one. There's some in Australia. There's some in Canada, and one other America, but somewhere. I don't remember where the third country is. It's just getting started.
Yeah,
But it's
wow.
really great that
Yeah.
we've been seen as a national model, and it's not just because it's most of it is because of the community coming together. As great as our team is, it's really not about us, it's about the community. When you have the community involved, you can't stop us. Because there's 18,000 of us, not just me, you know. There's you, and there's me, and there's Nick, and there's all of us coming together. We can do so much more when we're connected. So
I hear you. I hear you. What actually differentiates you from other non-profit organization? I mean, I know you mentioned this already, some of the services that you provide, but what do you think your beneficiaries would say is the best thing about PHC?
I think our participants would say the best things is that there's no one size fits all. So when you walk into our office, we don't have expectations of you, and we don't have expectations of your need. So if you walk in today and you're living on the streets, but yet that you're okay and you don't want anything but a bottle of water, we're okay with that, because we believe that once we make that first engagement, then we can have a relationship and maybe help move them towards housing. Not all of us are ready to make change today, but if we create that relationship when they are ready, we can make this happen. So I think what's really cool about what we do is that we don't have expectations of our clients. We don't expect them all to be the exact same and for a solution to be the exact same. The other thing that makes us unique is that we really are, you know, the only way we work is that the businesses are involved, volunteers are involved, the city government, the mayor is involved, everybody's kind of involved.
But yeah, that's the amazing thing about it. How do you collaborate all of that? I mean, you know, it's just putting them in one event and, you know,
hard. It's hard. There's, you know, we have about 240 providers that we work with, as well as the Department of Public Health, Human Service Agency, the Mayor's
DMV,
Office, the DMV, you know, pretty much any Social Security, all of these places come together. And that comes from having a mayor that really believes in what we're doing, and he helps put pressure on these agencies, you know, to really partner with us. But also, when you do good work, people want to be a part of it. And I think that that's the thing about PHC. You know, you've been there. You've seen how one person's life can be changed in one day.
Absolutely.
And once you know that, it kind of sparks a fire, and that's what we have, is kind of this fire of change.
Well, actually, when I helped Nick to transport the clients to the dental office, and after the clients comes out of there, you know, they couldn't really talk. The simple thank you, really,
it touches you.
And it's nothing like it.
No.
I mean, there's just like I'm saying to my wife and stuff, like, you know, there's something that, you know, you give back, and a simple thank you means a lot, and you like doing it. You just wanna.
You want to do more.
Yeah, you gotta do
start
more.
Something. I think that people don't really understand homelessness, and they're kind of frightened by it, or they think that they're less than, or, you know, things like that. And I grew up without having housing, and at times in my life, and somebody would look at me. And,
I read that article.
And not judge, but it's, you know, we can't judge somebody by the way they look. We can't judge somebody by what we think of them. All of us, whether it's you or me or anybody, has a story. And when you go to one of our events or you come into our office, you realize that we're here to really look at the individual. It's not so much about this huge need, but we can really focus it in on what is your need. What is not the needs of everybody that's homeless today. What is your need today, and what can we as a community do today to make your life different? And that's kind of cool. You know, we're the only place that you could get dentures.
No.
And we've given out 52 pairs of dentures. It's crazy.
Actually, another thing that kind of got me to this project is I have 2 homeless brothers.
Oh wow! So you know.
Yeah, I know. And now with this project, Homeless Connect, they were able to be connected to first to a shelter. Now they have their own place now. You know, it's just thank you.
No, that really makes it all worthwhile when you hear that.
Yeah, and you know, and now this coming, they're about to get their dentures.
That is great.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
so both of them, So this project really have touched me, my family, and it's really meaningful to me. That's why. And to meet you, I was talking to Nick, and he said, "Oh, you like her." she's full of energy and she's so good. And thank you, really. I really appreciate this moment. I know you're a busy woman.
Well, this makes my day, and to hear that we've actually been able to help people move into housing.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, when I wake up, sometimes I think you feel alone or you feel tired. You're like, what do I want to do today? But to hear that getting up helps, we helped somebody.
Yes.
That really makes everything worthwhile. So thank you. That's exciting to me.
Okay, I just have one or two more. What are the challenges that actually you face right now with Project Homeless Connect and Project, One Day Connect? I mean,
that's a good question.
Yeah,
I think as positive as things are, and as there are so many people that want to help, San Francisco's really divided. I think that especially as so many of us can barely afford to live in the city and we're all strapped. I know even for me, I'm trying to afford if things have just gotten so expensive so fast. And I think a lot of us are struggling. And when we're struggling, it's hard to see somebody else who's also struggling and not feel some type of animosity or something like that. And so, I've talked to a lot of the city's politicians who have said, we're getting a lot of feedback that we're spending too much money on homeless services, and what good are you doing? That type of feedback, it's because there's people who are working and still can barely afford their rent, and they think, why is it that somebody who's not working can get rent? And they don't totally understand that there's so many people out in the streets that are sick, that are mentally ill perhaps, that have struggled in ways that we don't know until we actually understand the individual. So that stigma is really big in San Francisco, and I think it's gotten much worse over the last couple of years, just as more people are struggling. Apartments that cost $2,000 that were crazy expensive at $2,000 are now $3,500. Nobody can afford that, except for perhaps these tech boomers. But the regular people can't. And so as things become tighter, it becomes more frustrating to see our dollars going into programs that aren't necessarily working. And again, that's what makes me excited about PHC. Your dollars don't go into programs. It goes directly into socks, granola bars, dentures. It goes into housing. It goes to every dollar that we raise. It doesn't go into us. It doesn't go into this space. It goes right into the clients. And I think that is one of the reasons that people like our project, because you know where the money's going. You know that it's not going towards me having a nice vacation in Cabo. Although I'd love that.
We can all use Cabo. I have one more question that I'm really so I know you spend a lot of time on the streets too, giving up the cards and stuff. What do you spend most of your time on though? I mean, on a regular day. I mean, what is it to be a director of PHC?
So it's an interesting job. This is a really specifically interesting job because, I report to I report to the Department of Public Health, but then I also partner with the mayor's office. So a day in my life could be a couple of hours out handing out granola bars and getting to know the clients. I like to know when I walk down the street people's names. I like to know their situation, and so that's really why I try to be outside. And I feel like the best programming we can do is by understanding the needs of each participant, not by a one-size-fits-all, but by actually getting to know who we're serving, seeing where they're sleeping, really understanding the issue. So it's also some days I get to do radio shows or get with people like you, which is also exciting because then we get to talk to people and really change what people are thinking. So a day in my life could be a couple of interviews, working with clients, working with the mayor's office. It's an exciting job because we really get to be innovative. We really get to look at each participant and say, what do you need, and try to be creative to solve it. I get bored really easily, and why I like this job is because every day is different. Every person is different, and so that means that every person's needs are going to be so different. You have to be smart, and I like that. I like that you have to think things through and really mobilize the right resources at the right time. So it's kind of exciting.
So your day is kind of like different every day.
Every day is different. A lot of meetings. I do a lot of meetings. But I always try to spend part of my day outside even if it's just coming and going, talking to the people who live on the streets around here, asking them what do they need today to go inside. You know, today is pouring down rain. I had a few pairs of socks and a couple umbrellas that people had donated. So just handing those out. Some people don't necessarily want to walk into our offices. They don't want to ask for help. But when I'm outside and I'm in their space, they'll be more likely to say, here is what I need. So, you know, making that engagement piece to where then they know, hey, Kara's not such a bad, you know, I think Kara cares. And so maybe they'll come into the office one day when they need something.
I think you definitely care.
I do. I just wish that I could
and
get everyone to care.
Yes, and wow. Okay, so let me just stop this. Okay.